Easy explained Buddhist philosophy, Bhavana, and meditations. This is chapter 7 of What the Buddha Taught by Walpola Rahula. The title of that chapter is Meditation or Mental Culture. That is Bhavana. So looking at what meditation is from the perspective of Buddhist philosophy, really what we're trying to do in this practice, in meditating, is to break the bad habit of thinking of the self, of thinking of yourself, right? Especially coming out of this concept of anatman. There is no self. So we're going to use meditation as a means to break that habit, right? It's just a mental habit. It's a mental culture of thinking of the self. So we need to shift that culture. We need to adopt a new culture, and Buddhist meditation is a way to do so. So there are two forms of meditation within Buddhism. The first one we've already touched on very briefly. It's samatha. It's a discipline or a training that connects directly to certain components of the Noble Eightfold Path. And here in this meditation, you're coming to a state of sameness, for lack of a better word. You and your mind are coming to a state of sameness. So it's going to be very calm, very tranquil. You're going to cease your thoughts, right? Think of quieting your mind. You're coming to just a baseline state of being. And this is sometimes confused and compared to the Hindu samadhi. This has come up a few times now. That is a Hindu bliss trance. It's very different. It's separate. Samatha is going to be, you're not in a state of trance per se. You're not in a perfect state of bliss. There's different goals, different ends, different objectives here. So that's essentially the first form or the first layer of Bhavana, of Buddhist meditation. The second one is one we're going to go a little bit deeper with. It's called vipassana. And in vipassana, we're going to push past samatha. And this is really the end goal, right? This is the new mental culture that we're trying to adopt. So here we see that one part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Here we see contemplation and observation, right? We're seeing a true insight into the true nature of things. And the goal here is really liberating your mind, right? If you're doing this and achieving this and practicing this, you're really getting somewhere in terms of your practice of meditation, right? You're going to be realizing the ultimate truth of Buddhist philosophy, which is nirvana. In this state of vipassana, in this practice of meditation, there is no suffering. There is no thirst of any kind, right? This is really a glimpse into that state of peace. And we can also view, just Bhavana in general, this Buddhist meditation, specifically vipassana. We can really view this as a critique of Orthodox Hinduism. We can come all the way back to where we started, from that initial point of breaking. Here we are at the very end. It's coming full circle. So how are we critiquing Orthodox Hinduism here? Well, if we're looking at that Hindu samadhi, that Hindu bliss trance, the Buddhist critique is that this is not the finding of the self. That's not what you might be being told that's what the goal is, right? That's the bliss you're finding. You're finding Atman, you're finding your true self. But really what you're finding is the illusion of the self, right? And we're trying to shatter that illusion. We're trying to break out of that illusion. So in Buddhist vipassana, really what you want to be seeing is the no self, the anatman. Right? And again, we can look at this as the end of the Noble Eightfold Path. That's what anatman is. That's this practice of the very deep Buddhist meditation of vipassana. We're going to push all the way through to this state of nirvana. It is a practice. We're not going to get into how it's actually practiced. There's a lot of books on that, and I am by no means an expert myself. Just kind of relaying what we find in What the Buddha Taught by Walpola Rahula here. So it's an overview of the main chapters of his book, and it's an overview of some main tenets, some main principles of Buddhist philosophy. So I hope this is a great starting point, and for now, I hope this helps.